interest rate, where today we're sitting like around 4%. And what a great time to be in real estate, to be buying real estate. It couldn't be any better.
Right, so prices are down. Dan, rates are down, right? And what's the average mortgage rate, 30-year fixed, going for these days?
I heard today that Freddie Mac was saying that this last week it's been about 4.125 for interest rates. We've been doing them as low on the 30-year fix as 3.75 up to 4.25, kind of floating right there, depending on how the market's doing.
3.75 to 4.125. I mean, that's crazy. Right now, when I bought my first house, put a 1 in front of it, and that's what interest rates were, right? Back in the 70s. I think I told you the story off air. My wife and I bought our first house in 1979. I'm still married to the same woman, so hallelujah for that, right? And 10 3/4. We assumed the seller's mortgage, and we took out a second and a third. We borrowed money from relatives. Got to get to 10 3/4. I think CDs were paying 12 at the time, which means interest rates for mortgages were about 14, I want to say. So that was pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, my wife and I remember I had tears in my eyes when we were able to get a 9.5% rate going from 10.5. We thought, this is heaven.
This is heaven. And now we talk to some young kids. My daughter bought a house not too long ago. I think she got like 4 and 8, 4 1/4, something like that, or FHA. And she's like, Dad, these rates are pretty good, right? Yeah, if you only knew, honey. And so the payment is really is. So this is the perfect storm we talk about all the time on air. Perfect storm. Prices are down. Rates are down. If you haven't looked at your credit a long time, please check your credit. Contact me on my off-air line. It's 866-538-9898. Again, 866-538-9898. We'll tell you where you can check your credit. We'll offer you a complimentary credit review because you really want to check it. Again, 77% of you have erroneous information on your credit reports. And I can tell you this, Dan, I'm sure this is something else that you see on credit reports. Short sales, in many cases, do not report correctly. I'm sure you've seen that as well, right?
Every day.
Every day. I mean, how often do you see it when someone comes into you, they want to get pre-approved for a mortgage, they did a short sale 2 years ago, 3 years ago, you run their credit, and their lender is still reporting them as past due today, right?
Yeah, every day. And, I don't know all the reasons why or how that's supposed to be reported, but I've seen stuff where they're showing it as like they had a payment last month, and the short sale was 2 years ago.
Exactly, and they're still continually reporting that as a charge off or a settle for less, and they keep updating the reporting, right? So as long as they keep updating that reporting, it's causing another hit to the credit score, because history makes up 15% of your credit score, and the older a negative item, a longer period of time ago it happened, the less of a negative impact it has. So if the lender continues to re-report you as past due, every month, and your short sale happened 2 years ago, then the hit on your score is much more severe than it would have been had they quit reporting it 2 years ago like they should have.
And it also affects our underwriting because we're looking at it and saying, okay, what's the true story here?
Right. What is the true story? And can you get somebody approved that they're showing past due on a mortgage? Or does that have to be corrected before they can get a mortgage?
It needs to be corrected depending on especially what the timing was.
Right.
If they're telling me it was 2 years ago and I have a credit report telling me, well, that's 2 months ago, that's where I need you to come in and help get that straight.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of stories coming up. We're going to go to break here in a second. But one thing Randy Cooney doesn't know is we have a special guest for you coming in, and we'll announce that pretty soon when he gets here. But we're going to go to break here in a minute. Again, this is the Real Estate Radio Network. It's your Credit Talk Radio. We're here every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. We're going to come back after the break, and Dan Huss is going to share some more inside secrets about all these government programs and whether or not they can help you. They're really the true scoop. If you're talking or listening to one of the past presidents of the Arizona Mortgage Association, I would say that he's probably in the loop. Also, Randy Cooney from the Success Institute. Randy's going to share with you ways to pick the best real estate agent. And so you hear the music. We're going to go to break here in a second, and as we come back, we're going to talk about all that information. Again, if you need to reach me, it's mick@yourcredittalkradio.com, mick@yourcredittalkradio.com. We'll be right back after the break.